Tonight marked the birthday celebration of Princess Gretchen, the eldest daughter of the king. As the grand event buzzed with excitement, the carriage of Bjorn and Lady Renata arrived in elegance. The couple looked striking, Bjorn regal in his tailored suit, and Renata stunning in her flowing gown. Bjorn's expression subtly shifted as another carriage door opened, revealing Elke. She stepped out gracefully, dressed in a striking gown of red and black, which contrasted beautifully with her long, golden hair styled in a delicate, elegant updo. Bjorn approached her, his gaze fixed. "I'll be honest," he said quietly, "I didn't want you to come tonight." Then, softening slightly, he added, "But you do look beautiful, Elke." Elke smiled warmly. "Thank you, brother." Renata, watching the exchange, couldn't hide her surprise. "I can't believe you've been hiding such beauty in the Duke's estate all this time," she said, almost in disbelief. Bjorn chuckled. "We had to." Suddenly, Bjorn placed a firm hand on her shoulder. "Don't get swept up in the party," he warned, his tone quiet but stern. "Ignore any men who try to catch your attention. Remember who you are, act with the grace worthy of the name Eberhardt." A silence hung between them, with Renata quietly watching. Elke's eyes dropped to where his hand gripped her shoulder. After a pause, Elke nodded. "Yes, brother. I understand," she replied, without protest. The event hall was filled with noble guests. It looked incredibly elegant. Lanterns hung from the ceiling. Soft lights danced around the room, and countless tables and chairs were arranged gracefully in the center of the hall. Renata was completely amazed by the grandeur of the event. Her gaze landed on Princess Gretchen and Apos' gown. It was breathtaking, covered in intricate patterns and elegant designs. Renata leaned over and whispered to Elke, saying that she rarely saw such a beautiful style of dress. She added that she had heard a rumor. The gown was a gift from Sir Mikhel, sent from a foreign country every year. Judging by its beauty, she believed the rumor was probably true. Elke simply replied, "I don't know much about fashion." Renata smiled and said, "Bjorn is really strict with you, even though you and Apos are a grown woman now." She leaned closer. "If his behavior ever upsets you, you can always tell me." Elke remained silent for a moment before replying softly, "I don't have any reason to be upset. Thanks to my father and brother, I've been able to enjoy many things in life." Renata gave a small sigh. "I'd be lucky to have a little sister as thoughtful as you." Then she added, "Bjorn once told me about the incident you were involved in when you were young." Elke and Apos' expression shifted as her mind drifted to the past. She remembered her sister's cold body lying in the coffin, surrounded by white flowers. The image was vivid. Someone had thrown a flower vase at her. It shattered against the wall, just inches from her head. Her father had been furious, fists clenched, while her mother stood quietly in the corner, dressed in black, her face hidden behind a fishnet veil. She wept as they mourned 𝔄𝔪𝔬𝔫𝔥, Elke's sister. Elke was blamed for 𝔄𝔪𝔬𝔫𝔥's death. Back in the present, Elke blinked and whispered, "I was just a normal child. That's what I believed." She glanced around the crowd. Her father wasn't there, only the king, engaged in conversation. But then, her eyes caught sight of the man standing beside the king. He suddenly turned and looked directly at her. Her breath caught. It was Reiner Mikhel. Their eyes locked across the room, neither looking away. Elke stood frozen. She couldn't and Apos tell whether he was bold or simply rude to hold such a stare in the presence of the king. Her heart pounded in her chest. She was so lost in the moment, she didn't even hear someone calling her name. Elke snapped back to her senses when she felt a hand on her shoulder. It was Bjorn, calling her name. Blinking in surprise, she turned to him, clearly having not heard him the first few times. "Elke," Bjorn said again, gently but firmly, "what were you thinking about?" "I am sorry," Elke murmured. "Where's Renata?" she asked, confused. In a far corner of the ballroom. Reiner Mikhel briefly drifted his gaze toward them, his expression unreadable. Then he turned back to continue his conversation with the king. Bjorn's expression hardened as he followed Reiner's gaze. His thoughts soured. Reiner Mikhel hadn't changed at all since their days at the military academy. His grip on Elke's arm unconsciously tightened. Elke flinched slightly and glanced at her brother. "Don't look at him," Bjorn said sharply, still watching Reiner. "Don't make eye contact." Elke blinked. Who are you talking about?" Bjorn's tone was curt. "Reiner Mikhel." Elke frowned, unsettled. "He talks about him like he's a threat, or an object." Just then, Renata appeared beside them and touched Bjorn's shoulder with a playful pout. "You're nagging your sister again, Bjorn." Bjorn turned to her. eyes narrowing slightly. Where did you go? You just disappeared. Renata smiled. I went to greet the princess. Dorothea Bodman was trying to keep her all to herself. As the musicians began to play, signaling the start of the dance, Renata's eyes lit up. She turned to Elke. Come on, let's go. Elke hesitated. She had no interest in dancing. You should mingle, Renata added cheerfully. It's important for a future Pontifex to connect with people. And they'll love you, Elke. I'm sure of it. Elke said nothing, but inside, her thoughts were heavy. I don't want to be the Pontifex ... But if I refuse, my mother will cry. And father. She found herself standing alone amid the crowd. A group of men eyed her with interest, too much interest. It was uncomfortable. This will be my first dance, she thought nervously as one of them began to approach. He held out his hand, inviting her to dance. Elke hesitated, still lost in thought. I only ever practiced at home. Can I really do this? Then a voice cut through the music. Wait. Footsteps echoed toward her. A firm hand gently reached for hers. Elke's eyes widened. It was Reiner Mikhel. He smiled. Lady Eberhardt, he said smoothly, may I have this dance?